Hey, Robert, Tina, Lake Ferry. Hey, Blue Skies, Mom. Hey, Prepping, Doc. Yeah, Robert, the number's right there. You just got to have Zoom. The long number's I think the meeting ID, and then the short number's the passcode. A lot easier to do it on a computer. Deep in the heart of Texas. How you doing, Becca? Maria, Jeannie. Christina, what's going on? How's Colorado? How's Aunt Jules? Just get done with your sandwich. That's what I'm talking about. Chicken. Yeah, call in, Nate. Call in, buddy. Yeah. Hey, Diamond. Yeah, so BLM and the Democrats and all that, they're pretty organized. But us, no, not so much. We kind of just sit back and do a whole lot of nothing. We got to get better at that. I got to get better at that. I mean, it's been a while. We knew all this was coming, and we just sit back and let it all happen. While the whole time for decades, they were really getting a good plan together. And if you think about it, it's an absolute, almost perfect plan. I mean, it's they got us every which way we go, So we'll get there, though. We got God on our side, which they don't, so that's good. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Getting ready to head up. I think Sunday we're gonna head up to the woods. We got a cabin up in Houghton Lake, kind of mid to lower Michigan. And we're just gonna go camping. So we're gonna get off the grid for a little bit. We're just gonna go. Well, I probably won't go on at 4. It just depends where I'm at. I mean, I might pop in and go live at 4. But I will be making videos of the things we're doing camping. If anything pops up, probably take pictures of where we're at because it's beautiful up there. I don't know if Craig's gonna take over. He don't have to. I'm just letting y'all know. I will be still making videos. Just they might be random all times of the day. It might be quick videos. I'm not 100% sure where we're going. I like to get up near Traverse City, but we're gonna have all our stuff on the Razor, so you can't like you can just park it somewhere and just walk away. I have a chainsaw, tent, chairs, sleeping bags, quite a bit of stuff that could come up missing. So someone's gonna have to stay with that all the time. And I don't know if we can go through national parks on the Razor. I don't know about that. So we'll see. I know Michelle's a little worried about it. I told her relax. I got this all figured out. But I think that's what she's worried about. So that'd be cool. I haven't done this in really my whole life. But I can't wait to get up there and I told her to get a tent with the open top so we can just look up at the stars and hopefully it's a clear night. Yeah, it'll be cool. Yep. Can't wait. Yeah. Yeah, Traverse City. Yeah, it is prepping. Yeah. That's all right, Robert. I'm slow too, buddy. Yeah. You'll figure it out. First time's the hardest, man. You'll get it. Yeah, we won't be in town or nothing. We'll just kind of be on the trails and probably hitting the state land. Yeah, we didn't do it. We didn't do it. We went camping at a campground. It's not a campground. This is just going state land and just, hey, this looks like a good area. We're not. That's what we're doing. So it'll be fun. It's like camping for poor people, basically. You know, it's not glamping. It's camping. Yeah, you and John and Johnny should come up, Chris. We'll do it again. Matter of fact, we'll do it. We'll do it on snowmobiles in the wintertime. It's a good idea. And just see if you can live through the night. I think that's a good idea. Wonder if I can talk Michelle into that. You're still off the grid, dork. Yeah, might have to go take a bath in the lake. No, I don't watch Nick Nasader. Let me write that down. Robert, Nick Nasader. All right. Yeah, I got that rally. I got the rally on Saturday. 5 locations in Michigan. 11 to 2, I believe. And then at 5, I think there's a preacher in Detroit opened his home up to like a backyard barbecue. I'm probably going to go to that. Already reached out to a few people to try to get this, try to get it out there. I highly doubt the media is going to sponsor it or cover it, but they might. So we'll see. It's going to be a good time. I talked to a guy that's running West Bloomfield location, and the guy's 1,000% just like us, 1,000%. And that's absolutely awesome because now I'm going to meet some of these guys in the medical field that supposedly are professionals. I mean, I already know what's going on. You guys already know what's going on. So I don't know. It'll get interesting. What's up, my brother?
I'm setting it up so I can see chat at the same time.
Oh, you're moving on up.
No, I'm just at home with the computer.
Yeah, computer's way better than your phone.
Yes, absolutely it is. I got some, though. Have you started doing your introductions yet?
A little bit. Yeah, go ahead. Do what you want to do, man.
Okay. No. I got something for somebody. Hang on.
Oh,
Let me, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be a little bit old school. Yeah, boy. This one's for you-know-who. Here we go.
Stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
The prairie sky is wide and high. Deep in the heart of Texas, the sage in bloom is like perfume.
Come on, y'all.
Deep in the heart of Texas, reminds me of the one I love. deep in the heart of Texas.
Let's get that hoedown going, Jeff.
Yeah.
The coyotes wail along the trail, deep in the heart of Texas. The rabbits rush around the brush, deep in the heart of Texas. The cowboys cry, yippee-yi.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
The doggies bawl,
Deep in the heart of Texas.
deep in the heart of Texas.
Bum, bum. I had to.
Yeah, that was nice.
And that's not even the original. The original one I found on here by Gene Autry. It's old. It's hilarious. It talks about coal mining and oil and all that good jazz.
Yeah, Texas. I lived in Texas for a couple years. It's
Am I right?
history.
Can you fan out for me,
Great
puppy?
people.
Oh, I love Texas. I mean,
I was there in the early '90s, and everyone had multiple guns in the back of their truck. You know, they
Oh, yeah.
their windows would be down. You know, and they just
Yep.
walk up, get some beer or whatever. You know, they go to the gas station. Nobody messed with nobody.
nope.
Yeah.
No, because everybody had a gun. It was an armed society is a polite society, man.
Pretty simple.
Simple as that.
I believe Maine's the safest state in the union. Guess what? Everyone's got a gun.
Well, all these states that are opening up this whole Second Amendment, which, you know, even though we shouldn't under the Constitution have to, you know, do any of the
Exactly.
bull crap that we do to stay, quote, legal under the tyrant's law. You know, it is what it is. You know, you don't want to go to jail for it. I mean, who's going to hit, you know, that's the problem. When one person stands up, everyone else runs. You know what I mean? It's like turning on the lights. The cockroaches start to scatter. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking
That's
about
it.
today.
that's kind of like how we're doing.
On the other hand, when they stand up, or someone, just pick anybody out of Congress or any political person. One person stands up, they got 10 people come behind them, go, no, this is the way it is. One of us stand up, we're like, whoa, we don't want to really get into all that. You know, that's wrong. One of us stands up, we all got to stand up. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
hoping for this Saturday when we go to that rally, and they're
Nice.
standing up for their life, basically. It's gonna be good.
And I got a question for you.
Yep.
Are you going to live stream that? Are you going to be able to try to at least?
I'm going to, but I'm gonna. When I first get there, they got leaders there at each location.
Gotcha.
And, I've already spoke on the phone with one of them, and I'm going to his location, which is West Bloomfield.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to meet up with him, and I'll ask him permission if it's okay, because that's just the right thing to do.
No, yeah. Since it's not your event, I mean,
Yeah,
technically,
I'm
you're
just-
acting
I'm
like
just here to
you're acting like the press, but at the same time, you want to be respectful, you know.
But also, I got to be careful because I can only go live on my big channel, and but that's okay. That's all right. If I get taken down, I get taken down. I'm doing the right thing. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
Yeah. Maybe
it happened. But
maybe what you can put in the description or title is, "This is not my opinion," just so that, you know, maybe the algorithms don't try and chew you out, type thing. Even though at this point we're at war with, you know who we're at war with. You know, it's a battle. So we're just gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep doing what we got to do. We're gonna win the war. At the end of the day, we're gonna win. God won already when His Son Jesus died on the cross for us, and then He rose 3 days again. So we already won. It's all about getting into the fight so that it doesn't keep happening. So that we finally shut the well up. You know, close the mind, shut the well down. You know, no longer allow, all this foolishness to keep happening around the world. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said a few days ago, just say no, and like I've been saying all the time, take your mask off, shut the news off, and just kind of stand up to little things. Like in the beginning, the little thing would be take your mask off when you walk into a store, and
Yep.
then you're going to get a little more confident along the way. Well, this right now is a big battle. This what we're
Yeah.
going through on Saturdays, a huge battle, and we just got to keep winning the little battles, and we're going to win. We're already going to win the war anyway, but it just,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. And then, like I keep saying, listen to the true prophets out there. Hank Kuhneman. There's other ones out there. Go to Elijah List, Elijah Streams, and watch them. It's not just what they're saying about what God is putting in their mouth for them at such a time as this. They're encouraging people. They're giving hope. They're giving life. They're saying, no, this is the best time to be alive. Fight. Get in the fight. It's like the movie LT always talks about, The Patriot, when he goes into the church. And the first one that takes his hat off and says, sorry, guys, it's time to go fight, is the preacher. And then eventually the men stand up. We can't keep doing that. As the men, we've got to stand up from the beginning. We have tons of women out there that are at the forefront. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, Judy Mikovich, and there's others, with everything going on, with all the trafficking and stuff like that. Madison Marquette, I think is her name. The other one, Jess. All these people are women. Where are the men? Obviously, we have to look at the whole when it comes to sex trafficking and on all that other foolishness. It's usually just mainly women, but there are men out there. But I'm talking about men taking a stand. Where were all the men protecting their children? We know about mama bears, but I've said it before. Where were the men? And I'm working on a video that I'm trying to produce about this. But it's just like, stand up and fight, man. Stand up and fight. The more we stand up, the less likely anything's gonna happen. Like I was talking about yesterday in South Africa, they formed a line and said, "You're not coming over here with your foolishness. You're not gonna take over our land. You're not gonna come in here. Look what's going on in San Francisco.
Going on for a while.
Every retail store has either been looted to the max or is shut down.
Yeah, whose area is that?
NP, the one that's probably a long time ago. There's a reason why they still wear masks in front of a television, because it's probably not them.
Well, it could be it too, but and they're probably ashamed to show their face. And it's my opinion, a satanic ritual.
Yeah, it is. It's part of their sacrifice. It's the way they do things.
So much going on, and if you do that, then you participate in it. It's like
Yep.
it's like they get more power from that stuff,
Yeah, and somebody, I was listening to an interview on Denise Boland's show with Jess, the Great Brit Patriot, Miss Judy, which is a prophetic, and then another one, and she was explaining to how they weren't willingly given, like she wasn't willingly giving her blood, but every time she'd fall and scrape her knee and blood would come out, what they would do is they would clean it up, and that would be the willing sacrifice. It's like the movies. They put it in the movies, and you're not even thinking about it, but they're showing you. It's crazy.
I've been thinking about this for a while, and you brought it up just now, where all the women are, I guess, coming to the forefront of this fight, because it's more of well, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
More of a spiritual battle, and I think us guys tend to just want to go out and choke somebody. Does that make any sense? I'd rather just go out. Look, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to go out there and just get things over with. And if we did that, we'd play right into their hand. Where women, I think, are more kind of more patient, and They think more. You know,
Yeah.
I really
Well,
don't know where I'm going with this, women, but you know what I'm saying. It's guys just want to go out there and choke, make things happen. Where women kind of excel at this warfare, I guess.
that's one of the reasons why they've been demasculating men for so long. The whole the big lie of feminism movement was where it all, that was the big start and the push to, make man look like he's the second rate. And then there's nothing wrong in my. It's not that I disagree with them. A woman being the one that is the one that makes more money, but they have to be careful with that role.
I'm good with that.
If I could stay home, I'd be the same way, But you have to be careful when you reverse the roles. I'm not saying that a woman can't be the CEO of a company and the man still be the man of the house, and make more money with a woman. People just need to realize that what's happened is it's been pushed to be the exact opposite. It's been pushed that both parents have to work, so you have to force your kids to go to school, so that who's raising your kids? The people that are indoctrinated in these colleges by liberal professors that don't believe in God. And then at the end of the day, your kids come home all jacked up. And then you go to church and you expect the pastor to fix your kids when you're not doing about it at home. So.
Wow. Prepping just said the box stores are removing no trespassing signs because they know we need them. They know we want them.
Yeah, Preppin, I saw that. Preppin put that up there.
I mean, it don't surprise me, but wow. It don't matter. You could just like you just get some poster boards, just make your own.
Yeah, just make your own stuff. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I gotta leave these out. I'm gonna make some signs.
No, did you see the one? Did you see the one that honestly put on her Telegram about charging if they come on your property?
Yeah, you can do that when you get pulled over too.
So.
Yep, $50,000 an hour if you arrest me. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, we that's the thing. We've got to keep educating, and we got to bring on people that can help us share the knowledge of knowing your rights. Because if people don't know their rights, they're always gonna fall into the trap. And I'm not saying I know all my rights. I'm still learning, but a lot of this stuff that is happening, I've known. Like when I got profiled when I was 18, going into a neighborhood that was known for drugs. There was 3 guys. It was me and my 2 best friends at the time. My boy was wearing his seatbelt. The cop said he wasn't. He got us for a little a tag light, a license tag light, and we were there for over an hour and a half almost because he wanted the dog to come sniff. And the sergeant was like, "Oh, that's because he's slow at handwriting." And in my head, I'm just like, "Y'all are full of shit." I'm only 18, but I'm not stupid. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't go out there partying like other kids do. And then I asked, there was a rookie cop. He had just joined the force. I was like, "Hey, man, do you mind not shining that because it's kind of blinding me because it's like right on the mirror?" Douchebag gets in his car, pulls it closer, and puts it right in my face. So what I did, I was like, I can play this game too. Pulled all my windows up, took my mirror, and pointed it right back at them. They want to play games, you just play with them,
That's the first thing I do when they shine that in my rear view. I just flip it up.
It's just like, forgive me with I apologize. I apologize, ladies.
It's ridiculous. And someday, I don't know if Matt's listening, we're going to have a conversation about all that. And I know Matt's a good guy. I know that. And I know there is few cops out there that are good. I understand that.
No, there are amazing police officers, but you got to remember, it's police officers. So you're following the policy of the department, which is run by the city, which is run by the county, which is run by the state. It's all trickles down. It's all something to keep us all negative and to keep us all bent out of shape. It's all to take our money and to take our rights at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's their plan. Their plan is almost perfect. They're stealing from you when they pull you over. I'm gonna try not to get into this rant, but it's ridiculous. You're traveling. You got the freedom to travel.
That's the thing. People don't know that. Your 16-year-old does not need to go take a driver's license test. You teach him how to travel. I'm teaching my son and all my kids, I'm telling them every time I get in the vehicle, we're traveling. We are not driving. We're not on official business. We're not owned by the state. We're not owned by the country. We're traveling. So it's, but there's nobody in the area that I know of that thinks like I do and that's willing to stand up and fight because in Orange County is a heavily left. I mean, it's satanically left agenda in our country, in our county, I should say. So that's why I said sometimes you need that oppression and that hand over your freaking head or the hammer over your head threatening you with no freedom so that you can actually be like, oh, I should wake up so that I can keep my freedoms.
Tonto's gonna come on. He's a sheriff. He was a sheriff. Either is a sheriff or was a sheriff. So
Gotcha.
That'll be awesome.
Heck yeah. And that's the thing. We have a sheriff in Seminole County, and I thought he was a really good one until I found out he wasn't. You know?
I mean, in my opinion, I know a lot of friends that, well, they're not really friends. I just know them. And they're no different than criminals, in my opinion. My flat out opinion. I went to church with some of these guys, and they got sued for beating people up in the jail.
Yeah.
And you're a Christian. Come on. I'm not saying I'm the best or I'm not saying that. But I don't go around beating people up.
Hi, Miss Tina. Yeah. Oh, I got bad news today. Tomorrow's D-Day for my little doggy. We're gonna do it.
Better off.
Yeah. So it's.
But, yeah.
It did stink. So she's actually over there. I brought her home today so she could spend the rest. Oh, she heard me talk about her. Oh, no, she's going. She's going to the couch. Oh, what's she doing? Come here, Bella. Come say hi to everybody. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on, I can only move the camera so far. Say hi. Say hi, everybody.
Wagging her tail.
She does. She runs around. She still does that, but she'll poop wherever, and she doesn't have control. So
get her some diapers.
So, since, like I said, when my parents, when my mom called me, I was at one of my customers' houses, and I just was like, thank God the guys are over there, and I'm here by myself doing my. I was just like, it's gonna be an emotional day tomorrow.
Matthew's on here. All right, we're gonna get two of these guys on here. That's what I'm talking about.
Matthew.
Hey guys.
What's happening, brother? Your
Hey.
ears are ringing.
They are.
That's-
You guys are very angry.
No, we're not angry.
Oh, we're not angry.
You learn us on this, brother. You learn us on this.
All right. Well, it's really a perspective thing. Think of it. Now, I'm retired after 27 years. I was a police officer and I was a deputy. Deputies, they're recognized like by the militia because the sheriff of a county is an elected official to where law enforcement are appointed.
Gotcha.
So that you like the state police are appointed. The deputy, the sheriff and his deputies are all elected. They work for the citizens. It has a direct impact when I have citizen contact. You can go right up to the sheriff and say, hey, there's something wrong with your deputy, to where there's a lot of anonymity with a police officer. They're kind of, unknown, they're not elected, so they're kind of untouchable. But
Gotcha.
look at it as it's called law enforcement. You don't hate the officer. He's doing his job. He has a job. He's hired by the citizens, swore an oath to uphold the laws of the land. That's what we do. Now it becomes a combat zone. We are in a war, good versus evil. I have laws to, if I don't enforce the law, you have a third world country. So I take it very personal. And in Michigan law, like Florida law, because I started my career in Florida, Michigan law and Florida law both state that I'm to go above and beyond, or I'm not doing my duty to enforce the laws. Well, I mean, that's what I'm sworn to do. So as a law enforcement officer, as long as I don't lose sight of that, once I start, going outside and, changing the color of the law and the interpretation, I start interpreting it, that's where I start getting in trouble. That's where I start doing things that are unconstitutional, and the officers have to remember we are one of you. We live among you, we interact with you. Of course, that means I have to carry a gun everywhere I go, because a lot of the people I've arrested, I see at the grocery store later on. But if I treat people like I want to be treated, then I shouldn't have too many issues. And I really never have. In 27 years, I've really never had anyone track me down, look for my family. I've been threatened, but that's mostly because, they were drunk and they didn't know what they were saying. And, you don't take it personal. That's one thing. You can't take it personal. You got to leave it at work, or try to. Now, police officers, good ones, you're a police officer 24/7. It's who we are. I am a public servant. I spent 8 years in the military, 27 years as a police officer. I know nothing else but serving my public. But, still in all, it's one of those, I have a job to do. I have laws to enforce. If I don't, then we have chaos. Now, are there issues with the Justice Department? Is there issues with the courts? Absolutely. But a lot of that, it's not the officer at all. We are simply we're the enforcement arm. That the laws are written by legislators. They're brought to bear by the courts and the officials. Law enforcement, we're just the enforcement arm. We're the soldiers that go out there and make policy happen. And nobody likes a ticket. Nobody likes handcuffs. Nobody likes any of that. But it's sometimes necessary. Just like they say, violence isn't the answer. Oh, yes, it is. Sometimes it most certainly is. Because without violence, how would we have won World War II? How would we have won any war? I mean, and that's what's going on out there. It's a war. It's good and evil, because, we break it down. You've heard of the sheep and the sheepdogs. Well, 10% of people are bad. 10% of people are good. They're guardians. 90% are sheep. Our job as law enforcement is to protect the sheep and to maintain the illusion. There is an illusion of all that is correct, all that is right, all that is gentle. Law enforcement's job is to protect that illusion, that we are doing something, because, technically, by law, I don't have to do anything. There's no law that says I have to act. I walk in to the sounds of the guns because I want to, and my boss tells me I have to. But there's no law that says run into that building and, confront that barricaded gunman. I can tell them, no, I'm not going to do that. And there's nothing that can be done to me. But taking upon myself, because of my oath of office, that I have an obligation, and most of the officers I've ever worked with have that mindset, or at least did at the beginning. We kind of get jaded because nobody likes a police officer. We're like used car salesmen. Your family hates your schedule. Your schedule sucks. The citizens don't like you because you're always doing stuff that pisses them off. And then your bosses get mad because citizens are complaining and they're blaming you for it. So I sit there and I'm like, why am I doing this job? Oh, yeah, that's right. I have to give something back to my community. I have to take action. I believe in law and order and keeping my community safe. If I don't do it, who will? Are you guys going to go in there and deal with a drunk that just beat up his wife and kids? I mean, how are you going to do that? Who's going to do that? If we're not trained to do that and we don't take it upon ourselves to do that, society breaks down. Now, that doesn't say, now we can go into the weeds with this really deep and, accountability and all that stuff. And, but in its basic form, you got to have law enforcement. I mean, you don't want the military coming in and doing this because, Jeff, you've been around, you've seen like third world countries, and what like the UN does, and what foreign, militaries do to people. They subjugate them. You don't want that. You want to be accountable or have somebody accountable to your voice. Now, sometimes it takes a lot of screaming, but at least we have a voice, we can use and, say, hey, wait a minute, your officer sucks, and if they step outside the bounds, that's what attorneys are for. I mean, the time to argue with a police officer is not when he's putting handcuffs on you. It's in the courts, and I try to tell people that, and they're like, well, you've never been arrested. Well, okay, no, I haven't, but I haven't broke the law and got caught to get arrested. Notice I said I've never gotten caught. So everybody breaks a law. I mean, you speed, you broke a law. You don't wear a life preserver when you're on your boat, you broke a law. I mean, if you want to arrest somebody, like the license plate thing, you can't have a pretextual stop. I can't come up and say, now, have I sat outside of crack areas, known crack areas, and waited for that Mustang 5.0 to come down with the high school kids at 3 a.m? Yes, I have. What the hell are you doing in a crack area at 3 a.m. if you're not buying crack? Right? And they're like, well, I have a right to be here. Well, so do I. And I have a right as a citizen or as a police officer to talk to you about why you're in a crack town at 3 a.m. But again, you got to look at it. I'm in a war. I'm enforcing laws. One of the things that are happening, if I have a heavy crime area, don't you want police down there doing their job? Well, I got to wade down in there and I got to sit there and say, why are you down here? Now you can say, listen, I'm just down here screwing around with my friends, and I check your license and I check your plate, and I might even go through your car and look for, contraband or something. But guess what? If you don't have any of that and you're good to go, off you go. Now, you'll be like, well, why are you running their license? Well, you don't have a right, according to legislator, to just drive down the road. It's not a right, it's a privilege
No.
granted to you
No.
by your elected officials. I didn't write the law. They did.
That's where we're. That's where. If you don't mind us interrupting you, Mr.
No, not at all.
That's where we're trying to get back to the original Constitution, where it's a travel, not a privilege. Get back to our God-given rights, not man giving us the privilege to carry a concealed weapon when we feel like it. Getting back to, I can travel from my state of Florida all the way to Michigan, all the way to California, back to New York, and crisscross the states without any interference from any law enforcement officer, because it's my right to travel. Now, obviously, we have to do it under lawful. We're not going to go 1,000 miles an hour. We're not going to weave in and out of traffic looking like an idiot. You're going to ask for something bad to happen, obviously. You're going to make yourself notice. But the right to, go from one place to another without, and like here in Florida, like you said, you started in Florida. Mm-hmm. Technically, we don't ever have to show you an ID when you pull us over, by Florida statutes. So more and more people are knowing their rights here in Florida, and that's why more and more people are pushing back against the system, against I wouldn't say against sheriffs. I would say against local cities, because unfortunately in Florida, it's about a 50-50 when it comes to how bad and how corrupt the city police departments are. Miami-Dade is probably the worst, which is in South Florida. It is atrocious. If you watch,
officers make an extra $5,000 on average a year to work Metro Dade and Broward counties because they're so dangerous.
They're so dangerous.
Yep.
Well, look at, like we were talking about, I think about 2 weeks ago, about the shootings. People were just random in the middle of nowhere, just gunfights on the streets. I'm like, this is, but that goes to, in my personal opinion, that goes to the people that live there. In South Miami. When we're talking about South Miami, you have a large Cuban population, you have a large Asian population, you have a large Haitian population, and they don't assimilate to the values that God put in the United States. So they bring their values back over here, and it just, that's what they call it. They call it Little Haiti. They call it Little Havana for a reason. Same thing with New York.
We stopped forcing them to assimilate as Americans, and that's one of our downfalls. We allow them to come over, but then we say, "Oh, maintain, what you used to be. Maintain your status as a foreigner, and don't become an American." To where before, you had to become an American. And abide by the laws of the land, and like I said, we could really go into weeds a lot, because we've left church, and the church was one of the binding materials that kept society mellow and controlled, and we've gotten rid of church, we've gotten rid of God, and we're starting to reap what we've sown.
No, correct. Go, Jeff.
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff for you, brother. First of all, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that stuff. I don't want to disrespect you. I'm just throwing out my opinion, and if I come across wrong, brother, I don't mean any disrespect. I really don't.
I love you, Jeff.
But
I can't mute him.
No, and I'm gonna be respectful.
As long as you don't throw a donut joke out there.
I did yesterday, I think, but it's all right. I said, bring the donuts if you come on. But
that's right. I love donuts.
At the end of the show.
So do I.
Coffee and donuts.
So I think that's, and another thing, you guys are in a bad spot. You really are. You're in a terrible spot. So we do understand that, or at least I do understand that. But So
I'll second.
I think what happened was, and it happens with everybody, right? It happens with doctors, cops, lawyers, all that stuff. What I think is like the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds started the colleges to basically brainwash you. And if you're taught wrong, then you're just taught wrong. It happens with doctors, nurses, lawyers, all of them, and even cops. So you think you might be doing the right thing, but we have an oath. You took an oath. I took an oath.
Yep.
And it goes back to the Constitution. If some Yahoo wrote some laws and made some rules up, then that's wrong. I understand you guys work for a boss. I understand that, and you guys got to follow them. But if you're a constitutional sheriff, then you need to go back to the Constitution, like Roberto's saying. We got the right to travel. The lawyers or the politicians made it a law to where it's a privilege.
Yes.
So that's what we're kind of, and you guys are just the enforcers, like you said.
And we're even taught in the academy that tickets are a revenue generator.
Sure. Absolutely.
Period. I mean, why do you think Ohio had the red light cameras?
Yep.
You know?
That's unconstitutional. Yeah.
It is in Michigan, but according to Ohio law, you know, so,
and another thing, a lot of cops. I live in Flint. You know, cops don't go down there. Every morning, I run a red light. I don't run the red light. I stop, I look, and then I go so I can catch the next light. Because cops and firefighters, and they all do it. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying I want to get to where I'm going, and I'm just going to do it. I'm not breaking a law. I might be breaking a law, but I'm not committing a crime. I didn't hurt nobody. So
right.
Every day you got state cops sitting on 75 every day handing out tickets. So another thing, if cops are really for our best interest, which I don't think they are, I know some are. I understand that, but why isn't Whitmer arrested? Why ain't all these governors arrested? Why do they get to do whatever they want to do and nobody steps up and does something? No.
Well, there are very constitutional sheriffs, like in Michigan. I think he's up in Cass County. He actually hangs out with the militia guys, and you know he's a Second Amendment. But a lot of these guys, they're Democrats and they're politicians. I mean, and when you get to become sheriff, I know in my county, that's $96,000 a year. And what do? You want to cater to the votes. So you're a politician running for office so you can keep your $100,000 a year job. You know, and after a while, like I said, you start changing the color of the law, and the next thing you know, you're a politician and you're not enforcing the Constitution, that which every officer has sworn to uphold. We lose sight of it. But as an officer, when I sit there and I tell my boss, hey, that's wrong, the next thing you know, I'm out in BFE checking the inside of cows for the rest of my career, or I'm washing cars at the jail because I've pissed my boss off.
And that's part of the problem.
It is.
It really is, because they kept us slaves, and now we're debt slaves. And so you don't want to lose your job. So you're going to, even though that's wrong, that what you're doing, because you're not doing the right thing morally. So you went ahead and harassed everybody. And that's why cops get a bad name, because you're harassing people for just living their life. I got a pursuit of happiness and the right to travel and all that stuff. And then you guys come in there and you know, are
but we do it from the perspective of, we're not harassing you, we're enforcing laws,
which are unconstitutional.
Well, that's not our problem. That's what we say. It's not our problem. If you don't like the law, have your legislators change it.
And we know that's not going to ever happen. You know.
You're right. If it doesn't benefit them monetarily, they're not going to care.
Right. Right, exactly. So that
It all comes down to the dollar, the almighty dollar, because most of your laws are created by insurance companies.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, we're on the same page, man. It's just it's just
Oh, I know we are because I'm a Christian.
yeah,
I answer to God first, man second.
yeah.
And try being a police officer and not be a Christian. I don't know how you can do it, because otherwise and even in my career, I've had issues that I've had to deal with. We all have. I mean, I'm just an average white dude, but I put on a uniform and I am a love machine. I mean, women literally throw themselves at you when you have a uniform on.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with that. You got to deal with all the vices. You got to deal with trying to balance your family, and all the time, you never know when you're going to get your head caved in. And so you got to act first. And that's a whole nother,
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, I am on the edge of a knife. I have to see it coming or I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And guess what? Number one rule, go home at the end of the night, no matter what it takes.
And like I said, we're not, like me personally, every interaction that I've ever had with a police officer has always been negative because of the fact that I know my rights, that I know that you're not going to do this stuff to me type situation. Yeah. And it's all unconstitutional. Yet because they're following whatever they're told instead of following the Constitution, which should be the first supreme law, any law that is after that should be null and void on its head. That's why every state that has a Second Amendment law against the people should be null and void. However, because no one has the cojones to stand up against people, against the legislators, and like I was talking about this before you came on yesterday. I said, I can do it, but I'm going to end up dead because some jackass cop's going to come by and he's going to see a gun and he's going to shoot. Because it's almost happened to a few people here that have go open carrying fishing because it's legal to do so in the state of Florida. And they've had weapons drawn on them when they're doing absolutely nothing, because the people don't know that that's a law that you can do. Now, like I said, you shouldn't have to, but they're going by the law and they're still getting prosecuted. So then there's that second aspect of it. Okay, I'm following the law that you supposedly say you're supposed to uphold, and I'm still getting persecuted by it. So there's that first one is we shouldn't have to, but I'll comply because we haven't been able to fix it. The second one is, okay, now you're being a douchebag because you don't know the law that you're supposed to enforce. You see what I'm saying? So there's this is a topic we talk about for a long time to try and bridge the gap between law enforcement and citizens, because all we almost always see on the news is the negative side. We don't see the positive side of, oh, this guy went and saved somebody. Oh, this guy helped out this guy. Like, I can give you a personal story for a gentleman I did work for. He was a sheriff for almost 40 years. He said he wrote 0 traffic citations. 0. He refused to write a traffic citation. And every time he would come in, I can probably give a phone call to him and see if I can find out what state it was in. But he said every time he came back, he had the same thing. They would bitch and moan because he wasn't creating revenue for the sheriff's department. But he would always hold himself, this is different times, obviously. He's an older gentleman and he's been retired for a little while. But he said he would refuse what he would do. And this is something that if I was a sheriff, I would do myself. Because I do it now. If I see somebody with a tail light out, the first thing I try to do is either try to catch him at the next light or I try to pull up. I honk the horn until they get their attention. And then, hey, you got a tail light out. Now you can go fix it. Now you know. because most people don't go behind their vehicles and check if they have their
Right.
taillights out. It's not a conscious thing. But because I worked for the post office, that was a thing we did every day before we left the station. So I have that kind of training. So that's something that I'm always paying attention to. And that's something that could also help you share the love of Christ. We're like, oh man, that guy was nice. Thank you. You know, instead, you're giving the guy a ticket on something that, hey, just go to the store down the road. You know, hey, just go to go to, you know, O'Reilly's right there. It's 5 seconds away. Go to AutoZone. Instead, you got this big head and you can't get out of it, that you have power because you have a gun and a badge. And unfortunately, in Florida, I'm not, like I said, you started, but now it's very bad.
Well, you also
Very
have
bad.
to remember too about
It's-
pretextual stops. I have to write you a ticket for a license plate light out. I have to write you a ticket for a turn signal out. That way I can show that I've done this before. If I come up out of the blue and pull you over and for a tail light out, your lawyer's going to ask, Deputy Taranjo, you ever pull somebody over for a taillight out? No? Then why'd you pull my client over? But this way, I can go back and say, yeah, I've written 200 taillight tickets in my career. I've pulled people over for going left of center. I've done, you know, this. I'm just protecting myself, you know, so you don't want a pretextual stop. So that's why we do stupid stuff like taillights and license plate lights and things like that. And it's a strategy to get in your car. I mean, that's, you know, I can't just pull you over and tell you to get out of your car and get into it to look for anything. I have to have suspicion. I have to be able to articulate my suspicion of why I had to pull you out of that car, why I pulled you over in the first place. Well, if I don't have case law and history and all that, if I'm a brand new officer and I can't do that, then I'm going to lose that court case. And why even enforce a law if I can't win a court case? So I work on these things over my career so I can more effectively enforce the laws of the land. Now, I understand what you're saying, because to travel without your papers sounds like what?
Germany.
Nazi Germany. Where's your papers? Where's your license? But again, we go back to, I didn't write the law, I only enforced the law. And you have hired me to enforce that law. If you don't want me to enforce the law, defund the police. I mean, that's all you can basically do. If you don't want the laws, you know, enforced, then don't have the council approve the budget for the sheriff. You know, cut funding, and then, you know, see what happens. You become a third world country. I mean, it's a fine line.
It's a fine line.
Fine line.
Yes.
And I've actually worked as a liaison, where all my job was going between civilians and law enforcement. That was my whole job. Just doing presentations and you've all heard of DARE and all that stuff, and, you know, going into the schools and talking to the kids and, you know, doing presentations and talking about bullying and talking about this, and talking about, well, you know, you want to become officer friendly so you can get in there, and it's a double-edged sword. One, because you'll get kids and everybody to come to you when they need help, but you're also, and I'm just playing, you know, real here. It's also a way for me to learn information. If I want to learn stuff about Jeff, I start asking his neighbors. I get in there and start asking his family. I start, you know, because I've I've worked undercover drug too, and doing a drug case, they take months. You call up and you're like, how come you're not getting rid of these drug dealers? To do a drug case takes months and months and months of investigation. And I mean, it's so meticulous. They go over it with a fine-tooth comb. One mistake and they'll throw the whole case out. So, you're sitting there, you can't, you're double checking, you're asking for help, you're going back and you're refreshing information, and it's like, holy crap, just for somebody that's selling their pills, it's like, holy crap. But without that, you can't serve the citizen that's down the street going, how come you're not getting the drug dealer off my street? Well, I can't just walk down there, people, and knock them upside the head and drag them away. This isn't Nazi Germany. This isn't Soviet Russia. We have laws and we have to follow it. We have to play the game. And that's what we're doing. We're playing the game.
Yeah, I understand some things you're saying, but cops don't go down to Flint. They don't go down to Detroit. They don't go down to Baltimore. They don't go down to New York City. They stay away from those places because they don't want to deal with that stuff. So they rather just pull a working guy over on I-75 and steal the money from them. That's what they want to do.
You're not gonna fight.
Right.
You have deep pockets.
Right.
And it's not politically correct to pull over a minority.
See, we're in a no-win situation, man.
I understand.
And
But you know what, Jeff? I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I know.
Well, I do, because now I'm a citizen. Yeah. But so if I step out of line, they're going to come down on me too.
Well, you're not going to get a ticket because you're just going to flash your badge, say I'm a retired cop, and then nothing happens to you. That's just how it is. And I understand that. That's part of the benefits, the perks. I understand that. I've been there. Yeah. I've got it too. But,
it's called professional courtesy.
Sure. Yep. So now what Roberto was saying was, so I get pulled over the first time, I go to jail, and you say, hey, you can take this up in the court. Well, the court's corrupt, for one, and the judges and all you guys are on the same side. So how can I get a fair trial if you're and the judge are on the same side? That's a conflict of interest. And then I get pulled over again, and I see you, and I'm like, well, I already know what's going to happen this time. So then I start arguing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I do. Yeah. And now,
before you guys keep going, Jeff, if you don't mind, throw your backup channel on there, because I was trying to get the link to it, but I couldn't. They were asking for it on chat.
Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, man.
Here's a little bit of information. Never talk to the police.
Right.
Never. You don't say anything without an attorney present, period. And so, I mean, I love law enforcement to death, but I'm never going to talk to the cops without an attorney. Ever, 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 under any circumstance. And when you hire an attorney, you get the biggest prick you can find. You get the Jeffrey Feigers of attorneys. You don't want the guy that goes to lunch with the judge after the court case. You want the guy that the judge doesn't like that comes into the courtroom. You want somebody that's going to earn the money you pay them. And they're out there. There are absolutely phenomenal attorneys out there. And they care about their job, and they will fight for you. And that's all an attorney is supposed to do, is guarantee you have a fair trial. That's what an attorney does, and your really good ones are going to fight really, really hard for you, and that's what you want. But again, don't talk to the cops, period. Don't talk to the cops. So, because anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Hey, man, I got one last question, then we'll probably have to wrap it up. Do you guys get a bonus for writing tickets?
we don't have a quota. We can write as many tickets as we want.
All right.
But
Yeah, I
no,
heard that
see,
rumor before.
here's
That's the reason why some officers make $115,000 a year.
well, no, we don't get the
Because
revenue.
we here in Florida, people have gone into because it's Freedom of Information Act, and you see the officers that are making, $100,000, $130,000 because they're writing so many tickets.
Well,
And
see, it's not direct. You don't get piecemeal. What you do is you write the citation, the revenue goes back to your department, which allows you overtime. Because if you're not writing tickets, there's no overtime budget. If there's no overtime budget, you're not writing tickets.
So it's all about words on both sides.
Well, basically, and here's another one from an officer's perspective. I have to show productivity. I have a log. I have to show you what I'm doing. When I was on the sheriff's office, I had to have every half hour had to have something on my log telling you where I was, what I was doing, if I was doing a ticket, if I was doing a report, if I was taking lunch, whatever I was doing had to be on there. And if I don't show productivity, I don't get a good review. If I don't get a good review, I don't get to do stuff in the department. So part of showing productivity is going out and enforcing traffic laws, because it's showing that you're doing something. You're not just sitting there running your car and going and getting a donut.
I prefer them eating donuts all day than sitting there giving citations, which is in my personal opinion, just a bunch of what, and I won't say it. So it just
right.
I
mean, there is a need for traffic laws. I mean, go down, drive down in Haiti for a while and see what a country looks like without traffic laws.
It's actually a lot safer, to be honest with you, because they've done studies on that.
No way.
Yeah,
I've been to Haiti multiple times. It's deadly down there.
It's actually safer. Like India is actually safer than most of the bigger places because people actually pay attention instead of paying attention to a red light or their cell phone. Yeah. So, like,
so we could talk.
So this is a topic for long discussion. So we kind of
absolutely
went off the rails there. So you're getting the wrath of us being like, no, we're getting back to the gosh darn Constitution, whether they like it or not. We're gonna take our freedoms back. God is gonna take control, and whether they like it or not, we're getting them pitchforks out, and we're going to go to town. And anyone that doesn't want to back us, get out of our way. Put your badges down. Go back to your mommy's basement, because the truth is going to come out, and we're going, that's why we get so frustrated. If you say you're going to enforce the law, go after the true Constitution of the United States, start enforcing those, and then all that's going to trickle down, and then all the enforcement of all this bullcrap that they're doing, they won't do it. But that's not prudent, and it's not expedient for them because it's not financially benefiting to the people.
Roberto, if we were to really enforce the laws, we would march on Washington and tar and feather every politician in there today.
Oh, most of them are probably not even there anymore, buddy.
Well, I know, but
so you got to go to work tonight, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's my last night, but we could talk about this, and maybe we will talk about this now that we got the
blood flowing
of our aggression kind of out. I think now we could kind of move on.
And I'm not. And there was nothing you can say or do that would upset me to the point where I stop, respecting you, loving you, or even want to be here.
Same with me, man.
It is what it is. We are brothers in Christ first. We're, we say we bleed the same. We put our pants on the same way. I mean, what the heck? So
Yeah.
we all have different aspects. We have, we're different fingers of the hand, and we're out there doing God's work, however we see fit, however He's called us. And what I do is not going to be how you do things, nor should I criticize you for the way you do things. I just, I want to try and give you a perspective that a lot of people just don't have, because
Yeah.
law enforcement's that silent brotherhood that it's us versus them, and you can't be that way. We have to bridge that gap, and the more the better off we're all going to be.
Knowledge is power.
It is, absolutely. And
Yep.
truth comes out, and truth always prevails.
And this is great, because I know Tactical Tonto wanted to get on here, and I know he's a sheriff, and I'm sure he's listening, and he's probably pulling his hair out right now. But I'd like to get both you guys on here.
I am Tactical Tonto.
Well, then I didn't know that. So
No,
all right, so that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tactical because I was in long range surveillance in the military, in the
Okay.
Army.
All right.
So-
I thought there was two of you guys, and okay, so that's
No,
good.
That's
Okay,
me. That's me.
Yeah, I guess I don't have to worry about that then. But
No,
okay.
I'm here. I'm yours.
And I know there might be a few more cops on here, and come on here, because this is what we need to do, because I disagree. We already kind of went through this. I disagree on some
Right.
things, but we're real close we're real close. We just got to figure out. And I think there's division here because the lawmakers are making that way.
Right. Well, right. And we're having rational discourse, and we can actually, through this discourse, we can come to solution.
Yeah.
And maybe take that solution to our politicians.
Yeah.
Because I have a great congressman down here where I live, who I've already talked to multiple times, who will listen to me. And it's like, if we can do some discourse and say, hey, listen, this law here sucks. Can we do something about it? At least they're going to listen. And we've come to that. And this is how it should be.
Yep.
Rational discourse. We don't have to agree.
Yep.
We just have to be professional enough to get along and talk about our differences. And we're not going to agree, because Jeff is Jeff, Roberto's.
No,
We're always going to be a little different, but that doesn't mean we can't get along. We can't work mutually together for the betterment of society.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't consent to a lot of things cops do, so I'm just going to throw that out there. No,
That's
I
fine.
and
I
then-
don't either. I don't either.
Because I'm hard-headed and you're hard-headed, and most cops
Yep.
are got an ego, and they think they run things and they don't. And then when I tell them my feelings, because let's not beat around the bush, let's just get right to the point. What you're doing is illegal, and more than likely you're probably a piece of crap and all that, whatever,
Right. Oh yeah,
so-
I agree. I don't like some 400-pound slob telling me I'm wrong.
Right.
It's like, whoa, wait
Right.
a minute.
So right off
Yeah,
the bat,
sit-
we're arguing. Yeah,
Take
not
a
good.
step back, son.
Yeah.
Yep, take a step back.
Yeah. So yeah.
You ain't
I'm-
all that in the bag
I'm
of
gonna
shit.
throw something out there for people, and I wrote a little bit of it in the chat. Having Matthew's background of being in there for so long, and his diversity of being there, he can bring a light that most people will never know, or an aspect that people will never know, because they don't have a family member that's law enforcement, or a close brother or a sister or somebody that they know that's close to them that is in law enforcement. It's like the military. When you say you got the man's back, you got the man's back. The problem with that is a lot of people have seen with all the stuff that's getting pushed out is we've got your back, even if it's unconstitutional. And that's where a lot of people are the distrust. So having you on here, people need to understand, is a blessing for us, because number one, you're a Christian. You're a believer in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. So that number one makes everything different. When a police officer doesn't have them, my opinion, that makes a whole world of a difference because
Absolutely.
you treat people the way you want to be treated. When I have customers, I treat them the way I would want them. I would want them to treat me if I was on the opposite shoes. So that being said, we appreciate you. We're not we're like you said, we'll agree to disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, on a serious note, we'll agree to disagree. But I think we can bridge that gap with more conversations because we can bring in factual information. You know what I'm saying? We can bring in things that are going to bring the barrier. How would I put it? Close the gap, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I agree. That's what liaison. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that you have knowledge of that we will never have knowledge of because we weren't law enforcement, but we're looking at it from an outside perspective. So when we start talking about the Constitution, you can be like, "Oh, I never thought about it like that," or I didn't have research on that when I was in law enforcement. So that's what we're all here for. We're here to help each other out. That's part of the motto of Jeff for the show, and all of our shows that we do is helping each other out, bringing our self back to God, number one, and then bringing this country and this world back to where they can love one another.
I agree. And law enforcement, I always say, I don't know everything, but I know where to find it. And I find it by getting help. It's like, oh, hey, does anyone remember this law, or is this illegal, or where do I find that? And then we have to go into a law book and all that stuff and actually find the law and everything and double check to make sure we're correct in our assumption. But yeah, so when you guys bring something constitutionally to, if it's the law, if it's the Constitution, so be it. That's what I'm sworn to uphold, and that oath of office never expires, ever. And
Yep.
I've done it multiple times. I've done it in the military, and I've done it as a police officer. I have sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
When I get pulled over, I took an oath too. So when you cops are screwing up, I got an oath. Maybe I should arrest you guys.
And that's in fact, I put it in the chat that there's a program called Right On Radio.
Yep.
They're actually having a specialist come on, I think today or tomorrow, about being a sovereign citizen.
Yeah.
And your rights. And it's like, and now I've dealt with sovereign citizens in my career, and they're not wrong.
We should all be sovereign.
Absolutely. I got a God-given right to do what I want when I want to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
As long as
to
we.
A point. As long as it doesn't harm another.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't kill me. I won't kill you. Don't steal from me. I won't steal from you. Yep.
Right. Well, that's accountability too.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Catfish decided to wake up.
People can't help themselves. So a lot of times they can't help themselves, and that's why we have to enforce laws.
And we can, like I said, we can go on this topic for 11.
And we're going to.
And
I hope we do.
Well, you know what we should try and do? I'm gonna see if I can send an email since I know you got to go to work. I can see if we can try and get Sheriff Mack on the show because
that'd be awesome.
he has his whole website and stuff, and he goes on people's shows and shares, and he has a training to help raise constitutional sheriffs around the United States, and he's doing awesome,
right?
Huh?
He wrote that book, right, about the rights of a sheriff.
I think so. I think he does have a book.
Sheriff is the most powerful law enforcement of any county.
Yes,
they have the right. They have the right to kick out the feds out of every county.
Yep.
Why aren't politicians arrested? That's what I'm getting at.
Because the system is corrupt. The system is evil. And the swamp runs deep. Well, I won't even call it a swamp. Like they say, a swamp is a beautiful ecosystem. This is sewage. And we're in a battle for the soul of the world.
Yep.
I mean, we really, really are. And I can only take care of Matt. I can only
Yep.
deal with another person
Yeah.
from the perspective of how would Matt do it. I control my own tongue.
Yep.
So, but as law enforcement, I have a duty to, to cover the laws of the land and enforce them. And, you get somebody breaks the law and damages you, you want justice. Now, justice and, but, the wheels of justice turn, but they just turn slow.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, again, maybe we should have a law enforcement hour where people can call.
Absolutely. I really, this is huge.
Call in
I
or
really
whatever,
do.
ask questions.
This is huge because we got to bridge this gap because we're fighting each other and we really don't need to be. But
No.
you guys
Right,
can't be
I
stealing
agree.
money from us. It's just.
I know.
This is
Well,
a very long-winded topic that we need to, honestly, in my personal opinion, Jeff, I think if we were to do a Zoom before we would do a live show so that we can talk about topics, and then when we come on here, we're not trying to
Get our
talk
vote in the
over
group.
each other.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that we can get more things, in the ducks in a row before, because
Yeah.
I didn't think the show was going to go the way it did.
No, me neither. But
Neither did Jeff.
yeah.
Sorry.
And thank you, Matt, for
But we
coming
do
on.
thank you. I personally, I love it. That's why, Second Amendment rights,
Yep.
it's if we were to get back to certain things, a lot of the enforcement would not be necessary at all. That's just my personal opinion. But
You're
anyway,
right.
you got to go, Jeff. Let's pray us out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Roberto.
Heavenly Father, we just come before you, thanking you for Matthew for coming on, Lord. We ask you for Jeff right now, Lord. He's going to work. We ask you to bless him, bless his travels, Lord. Keep him safe. May you have a hedge of protection around him at all times. Bless Matthew, Lord. Thank you for the time that he's willing to spend with us, Lord Jesus. We also thank you for all the members in chat, Lord, for all the friends, family, loved ones that are on here. Bless them equally, Lord. May you enrich our territory, Lord. May you bless them and keep them safe. Hedge of protection around all of us, around our vehicles, and everything that we do, Lord. Just continue to give us the strength and wisdom to fight the good fight, Lord. This is a good versus evil. This is not a man versus man fight, Lord. And we just thank you for giving us the strength to continue. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. I know.
And Lord, expand Roberto's business tenfold.
Amen.
I know this is a heated topic, and I know I've been watching chat a little bit. I know this is heated. I really do. But we can talk about, just like Matt said, we can talk about this civilly. And that's really what's got to happen because
I gotta apologize. I raised my voice and I was making Chuck 1776 speakers go crazy. Sorry.
It got a little heated, and that's just how all of us kind of are. And
I love it though. It's awesome.
It needs to happen. It really
And
does.
I know he's got the headphones in too. It's like, oh no, we're gonna make his ear start bleeding.
That's why I was kind of pulling them out.
Yeah, that's what I do when Craig comes on. He's like, ah.
But yes, Matt, we are going to do this at least once a week. Have an hour, 2 hour, because this really and we can get more sheriffs or more cops on here.
We need to bridge the gap, man, for
We don't
real.
want to get too many people on here because now we're really not going to get nothing done. But
right,
and we'll try to get organized a little bit better on this. Not like a soup sandwich. But,
chicken wire canoe. Yep.
Yeah, I really do appreciate you, Matt, coming on here, man. I really do.
Oh, I love talking about it. I know it's a necessary thing.
Yeah.
You guys need to know. I need to know. If we're not sharpening each other, we just walk around dull.
Yep.
You got that right,
Never
brother.
gets fixed.
Yep, nothing ever gets fixed. You're right. You're absolutely right. If we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that's insanity.
Yep. Man, I love you guys, man. We're gonna do this.
Oh, Jeff, it was a
good
good program. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Well, thanks for jumping on, man. I know
That's
we're
awesome.
kind of bad mouthing you cops and all that. And listen, I really do appreciate cops. I really do. And you guys are in a bad,
Well,
bad spot.
I'm
I
telling you,
understand
Jeff, if you didn't make so much money, we wouldn't bother with you.
Oh, that's a true statement, though, and that's the funny part about it all.
It is or it isn't. Yeah.
Because the FHP here make like 30-something thousand, but the sheriffs
Right.
make about $10,000 more. And if you go into Orange County, they make another like 15 more than that. So they make almost
Right.
60,000 starting.
Yeah.
Still
Now,
not
Orange
enough to be a
County,
cop, in my
Orange
opinion.
County is an excellent department, by the way.
Orange, not since you left, buddy.
Oh, well, when I was there, they were an excellent department.
Well, I was gonna say maybe back in the day. It is a hole nowadays. They
Really?
are one of the untrusted departments in the state. Sorry.
That's sad.
They might sound pretty on the outside, but inside, I've seen way too much corruption, brother. Way too much.
That's
That's why I said
that would break my heart, because there's nothing worse than a dirty cop.
the problem is we need good cops like you that are willing to be sheriffs, that are willing to,
If you only knew, Roberto. Don't say good, because I haven't always. I mean, I'm just human.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, man. We all make mistakes. We all we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. So, Jeff,
Yes, we do.
Craig,
I love you, brother.
Craig's being normal Craig and being on the fence, saying, hey, Tonto, arrest all these guys. And then, hey, Jeff and Craig, Roberto, get Tonto. And, Craig's being Craig right in the middle of the fence,
Oh man.
This would have been this would have been even a more hilarious show if Craig would have been on here.
Yeah, he missed out, but we probably got a lot more done because he wasn't interrupting everybody.
This is true. This is
There
true.
you go. Yeah, let's do this again. I can't.
Yeah, you broke up there for a second.
If you get a chance, Matthew, send us all an email, like a
Okay,
group
yeah,
email.
I got 'em right here,
Have it
so.
so that we can make a time where we can all get together and then we can start working on something for real for next week.
All right, yeah, I'll send you an email with my phone number and everything, and that way you guys can call or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, that's
Like
awesome,
we
man.
said, we thank you for your service, man, and it's a topic that we need to bring light to, because like I said, I have a lot of people that I watch, and then I have people that are law enforcement in the family, and we agree to disagree because there's they've been in it so long, so they got the mentality of their law enforcement. They don't look at it from an outside perspective anymore. So
And that happens. That's
So-
almost like PTSD. But remember, Roberto, I served because you guys are worth it.
and we love you, brother. And that's the thing, if I see a cop on the side of the road need help,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take out my second A and I'm gonna make sure he's safe.
There you go. If you don't, I'd be mad.
So, and then I paid for many sheriffs, Orange County sheriffs, many police officers' meals over the years.
Yep. Yep.
So, especially here in Apopka, the detectives and stuff that go to the barbecue joint, I pick up their bill when I can.
And
So-
they love that. I mean, that warms your heart. Somebody buying your coffee.
Yep.
Thing.
Oh yeah, I did it for sheriffs right down the road. There was like 6 of them that showed up, and the 6th one was late. So I was like, dude, you gotta pay for your own meal, bro. I got 5 out of 6. You gotta pay for your own. You
That's
can't
it.
pay. And then we prayed for them with my kids before we left.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We've got to bridge the gap. They're not bad humans. We just need to change the way we think about them, and they need to change the way they look at us. Because we cannot look at each other as if we're our enemies. That's
Right,
that's exactly the way the devil has divided this country. Red versus white, or white versus black. Spanish is this, or this versus that. The Democrat versus Republican. We got to get those verbiages out of our language. We're all Americans at the end of the day.
Right.
Unless you can't hear legally, then you need to get your ass back home and then come back legally.
It was put to me a long time ago. If I fell down in a hole and the only person to show up
God bless
and
you.
pull me out was like a black man, would I not offer my hand to get out of the hole?
Unfortunately, some people are so dumb that they wouldn't.
Right.
But
I'm military.
that's a training thing.
I'm military trained. The only color I see is green.
That's right.
So, because we all bleed the same, we're all freaking Americans.
You're gonna be late to work, Jeff. Kick us out.
I hate leaving, but I got it.
Well,
Yeah.
when are you going back up north? Are you leaving tomorrow?
I'm probably gonna go. I gotta cut a little of that tree up at my grandma's, and I probably gotta grab some more wood and come down here. But the wife's got to work tomorrow, and I got that thing Saturday. So Sunday I'll probably be going up.
Yeah.
We can do this tomorrow.
I'll be coming back down.
Because I would like to talk about what you're doing in Michigan. Well, it's not my channel, but I would like to talk about that so I can get some information from you, so I can try and do an event here. Because I got my sound system. I need to put it to use. I'll take my dump trailer, I'll stick them all there, and whoever wants to join, come join. Let's wake people up.
I agree. Yep.
People are still asleep in this nation. A lot of people.
It's a time for action. We have enough politicians talking. We need to act.
That's all they ever do, anyways.
Yeah.
Right. True.
And that's really all we do is sit down here and talk every day. Well, Saturday people are doing something different Saturday. And that's going to be good. That's exciting.
And I couldn't find what you were talking about. Could you give me that website again
It's,
for Saturday?
Oh,
Michigan Healthcare Workers, what?
if you're on Facebook, you can look it up. Let's see here. All right, it's Michigan Healthcare Workers Against Unconstitutional Mandates. You guys might have to be invited to it. I don't know.
all right, brother.
All
Kids are
right.
hungry, so I gotta go feed them.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's that's another topic that we can talk about because of law enforcement. What and that and when it comes to the jab and all that foolishness,
Right.
So, love you, brothers. I gotta go
All right.
make
You
for the
too,
kids.
Alberto.
All right,
God bless
thank
you.
Matt.
Look
Love
forward to
Matt.
hearing from you
We'll
guys,
get
man.
together.
Yep. You got it. We'll see you guys real soon.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, y'all.
Take your mask off. Shut the news off. Love your neighbor and help each other out.
That's
In
it.
the heart of Texas. Ding, ding.